Good morning students. Today we are going to start with next unit of CS1. So students, earlier we have completed 2 units of CS1. Today we will start with third unit of CS1. So the name of this unit is C++. So students, this unit is very important unit because you also have this unit in 12th standard with some advanced information of this language. So in 11th standard we will study about the basics of this language, and in the 12th standard we have to study advanced things of this language. So let's start with third unit, C++. So first of all, what is C++ and why we are studying C++ and what is the use of C++? So C++ is a programming language. C++ is a programming language that can be used to create high performance applications. So students, as in the first and second lecture we have studied that why we are studying computer science, that if we have to develop softwares, if we have to develop programs, then how we have to think while developing programs and softwares. So in the second unit we have studied that if we have to develop programs or develop softwares, we must have to gone through different phases, that is life cycle of a process and life cycle of any project. So where we have studied different phases, that what we have to perform in typical phase. So once we have decided, or we are decided with that part, that what we have to do, what type of software we require, what is the problem for which we are designing the software, and what type of tasks we want to perform with this software. So once we are done with that part, the next step is we have to use any programming language to develop software, to develop program. So C++ is one of the language which we can use to develop any program, to develop any software. So in this section, in this topic, or in this unit, we have to study all the basic things of C++, that what are the data types of C++, what are the keywords of C++, what are the operators and functions in C++. So we have to study all these things. So C++ was developed by Bajorne. So C++ was developed by Bajorne, and C++ is extension of C language. Students, before C++, C language was developed. So C++ is an extension of C language. How and why it is extension of C language? Because earlier C language was developed, but there are some things that the programmers or the user want some more things in some specific language. So C++ has some features of C language, as well as C++ has many new features as compared to C language. So there is a lot of difference between C and C++, but C++ was developed after C language. So that's why C++ is extension of C language. Next is programs written in C or C++ language can be run by using C++ compiler. So whenever we have to run C++ program, we always have to make use of compiler. Now students, next thing is what is compiler and why we use compiler. Students, as we are studying this C++ programming language, so this is high level programming language. High level programming languages means the language which is very much similar to English language, but computer does not understand English language. Computer understands only one language, that is binary language, that we have already studied in the first unit, that computer understands only one language, binary language. And binary language is very difficult for us to understand and to learn and to work with binary language. So hence we make use of high level language, that is English based language. But how we can understand English language, or how we can give commands to the compiler, to the computer, and how we can design programs in English language if it is not easy, it is not feasible for the computer to understand that language. So the answer is compiler. Compiler provides us facility that we can design program in English language. How compiler helps us? Because compiler converts our English language, the program, into machine language, into binary language. So for example, we have written a program in C++ language, that is English language. Now how computer understands it? Compiler will convert that English language code into computer readable form, that is into machine language code and binary code. So that's why we have to make use of compiler while executing any of the C++ program. So this is the very basic introduction of C++. Now next question is why we use C++, why there is a need to use C++. C++ is one of the world's most popular programming language. It is very common programming language. It is very easy to understand, simple to use, simple to learn. C++ can be found in today's operating systems, graphical user interface and embedded systems. So it is very easy to found the C++ in all these operating systems. C++ is an object-oriented programming language. We also call C++ as object-oriented programming language. The short name of this is OOPS. OOPS, OOPS, that is object oriented programming language. Now why C++ is called object oriented programming language? Because the reason of this is in C++ we make use of objects for everything. Whatever task we have to perform, if we have to communicate, if we have to pass message, we always make use of objects. C++ is totally based on the concept of objects. So this is the reason C++ is called object-oriented programming. So this is the reason that C++ is known as object-oriented programming language, and it also gives a clear structure to the programs, and it allows the code to be reused, which overall lowers the development cost. So see students, if what is the meaning of this reusing, and why we use objects? Because it provides us facility that if once we design the code, then we can simply reuse it again and again without designing it again and again. So once we have designed a code, then we can reuse it again and again. So this is how it provides us facility of reusing the code. So it overall lowers the cost, development cost. Next is C++ is portable. Portable means it is easy to transfer, or it is easy, we can simply copy the C++ from one PC to another, and we can easily carry to the another PC. And it can be used to develop applications that can be adapted to multiple platforms. And C++ is a language which provides us facility that we can easily develop applications which do not require specific platforms to run. So it is very easy to run the programs which are designed by using C++. C++ is fun and easy to learn. It is very easy, simple language to learn, and it is easy to deal and to work in C++. So as C++ is very close to C Sharp and Java. Students, Java is the extended version of C++, as C++ is extended version of C language. Similarly, Java is extended version of C++. So Java has all the features of C++ as well as Java has some features of its own. So C++ is very close to C Sharp and Java. So it makes it easy for programmers to switch to C++ and vice versa. So once if anyone has learned C++, it is easy for him to work with the Java as well as C Sharp. So it is the base. So these all are the reasons that why we are using C++ language. Now the next thing is difference between C and C++. So as I have already told you that C++ is extended version of C. So there are so many differences between C and C++. So I just want to tell you some differences, that C is a procedural language whereas C++ is non-procedural language. C++ is object-oriented programming language. Now what is the meaning of procedural and non-procedural? C is a procedural language, means if you have to run the code and if you have you are traversing the code, you have to do everything in a procedural way, in a structural way, that is line by line. Whereas in C++ you do not have to perform anything line by line. So this is the reason it is object oriented language. C follows top-down approach, whereas C++ follows bottom-up approach. Bottom-up approach is best approach as compared to top-down approach. Next is multiple declaration of global variables are allowed in C, whereas multiple declaration of global variables are not allowed in C++. And if we talk about C, whenever we have to define any variable, we have to define at the starting of the program, whereas C++ allows anywhere. C++ allows us, we can declare variable anywhere. So last difference is in C language, if we have to allocate memory to any of the variable, we have some functions like malloc, calloc and dealloc. Whereas in C++, if we have to allocate and deallocate memory, we have two operators, new and delete operators. New operator is used to allocate the memory, whereas delete operator is used to deallocate the memory and to delete the memory. Whereas in C, we have malloc and calloc functions to allocate the memory and dealloc function to deallocate the memory. So these are the very basic differences between C and C++. Now let's move to next, that is C++ advantages. What are the advantages of C++? Why we are using C++? So the very first advantage is it is used to develop applications and to solve complex problems. So see students, why we make use of any programming language? The main motive to develop any software or to develop any program is to solve the problems, to solve the user problems, to solve complex problems and to reduce the task, so that in a single click we can execute multiple lines with the help of programs. So this is the reason why we make use of programs. So C++ is one of the language which is used to develop applications and to solve complex problems in a simple way. Next is it is based on objects. So object can be anything. Object can be living, non-living. Object can be table, it can be a person, it can be a pen, it can be a bottle. So object is all the things that we see around ourselves. So as this language is totally based on objects, so this language is specifically used to solve real life problems. Real life problems as in the problems that we face in our real life. For example, we want to develop a program to calculate the sum of 10 numbers. We want to develop a program to find whether the number is even or odd. So these all are the real life problems. For example, we want to develop a program to check whether the user has paid some specific amount or not. So these all are the real life problems. So C++ is based on object. So we use this language to solve real life problems. So if we are using any language to solve real life problems, then it is very good for any of the language. Next is, it has a relatively clear and mature standard. Next advantage is modularity. So C++ provides us advantage of modularity. We have already studied in the second unit that what is modular approach. Modular approach is how we can divide a large problem into smaller problems, how we can divide a large program into small sub parts or sub programs, and how we can independently work on individual part of the problem as well as program, and it is very easy to debug and to find errors in a single module as compared to a large problem. So this is the reason that this is advantage of this language, that is modularity, because C++ follows modular approach. Next is, it supports reusability and readability. So I have already discussed that C++ provides us facility that we can reuse the code again and again. So this is the very important advantage which is provided by C++. Readability means easy to understand all the concepts. Next is, it supports polymorphism and inheritance. So students, polymorphism, inheritance is one of the features of very important features of C++, and there are full-fledged topics on polymorphism and inheritance. So we will study in later videos that what is polymorphism, what is inheritance. So as of now, you just have to remember the terms that this is the advantage of C++, that they support polymorphism and inheritance. Polymorphism means many forms, we can use the same function in many forms, and inheritance is how we can inherit the properties of base class to the derived class. So we will study in detail, then I will explain you in detail when we will work on these topics. So these all are the advantages of C++. Now let's move to next topic of this unit, applications of C++. Now what are the applications of C++? Applications mean what are the areas where we use C++ and why we are studying C++, because it is very important for you to understand that in where and what are the areas where there is a lot of scope of C++. So these all are the applications of C++. So the very first application is in desktop application. Desktop application means, for example, we are using this PC to do a lot of things. So similarly, there are so many apps which are available, which are built by using C++ language. So we can use these apps to perform many desktop applications. So this is the first application of C++. Next is, it is used to design compilers. So if we have to design different types of compilers, we can also use C++ language to design the compilers and to design different solutions to many problems. Next is to develop games. C++ is used to develop different types of games. It is most commonly used in gaming area. Next is, it is used to design web browsers. So what is web browser? Web browser is for example, Google Chrome is a web browser. Web browser is through which we can search anything on the internet. So for example, we use Mozilla, Firefox, Google Chrome. So these are web browsers. So web browser provides us facility that how we can search anything on the internet with the help of web browsers. So C++ language is also used to design web browsers, to develop web browsers. Next is computation platforms. It is also used to compute many problems, to compute automatic results of many things. So it is also used in computation platforms. Next application is, it is used to design database. Now what is database? Database is where they have stored a lot of data. For example, you have bank account. So you know that nowadays everything is stored in the form of database. Your details, your bank details, your transaction details, everything is stored in the form of database. And even when you withdraw money, when you deposit money, your database update according to your transaction. So this is C++ is a language which is also used to design database. See students, different languages are available, different platforms are available. So everyone and every company make use of different languages to develop these things. But C++ is also used in all these areas, so that's why these all are the applications of C++. Now it is up to the bank, it is up to the organization. If we talk about hotel management, so it is up to the hotel that what type of language they want to use for developing database. So many companies make use of C++ language to design database. Next is engineering application. It is also used in most of the engineering applications. Medical applications. Medical applications as in nowadays you must have seen that many medical imaging systems and even BP machines, automated BP machines are available. Most commonly people nowadays use BP machine at their home to check the blood pressure. So they generate the results in the form of digital display. Your digital watches are also example of medical applications. So these all are the devices in which programming is done and stored, and they operate according to that programming, that database, whatever data and whatever search knowledge based system is stored in that media. So C++ language is also used in medical applications to design different types of apps, applications, and to solve some specific problems. Next application is embedded system. Embedded system is which systems in which we cannot make changes, which are already built in systems, in which all the programming is already built in. So the real life example of embedded system is toys, that the children use toys, many automated toys, microwaves, ovens, washing machines. These all are examples of embedded system. These all things operate automatically when you click on the buttons. Then how they operate, because programming is already done and stored inside the devices. So they operate according to that instructions only. They do not have their own brain, or they do not perform any action without any of the programming instruction. So these all are embedded systems, and C++ language is used to design embedded systems also. Next is build enterprise software. It is also used to build entrepreneurship softwares and enterprises software. So different types of softwares are also available which are developed by using C++. So students, these all are the applications of C++, that is how we make use of C++ language to develop different things, to develop games, to develop compilers, to develop medical applications, to develop embedded systems, desktop applications, even mobile applications, and to design databases. So these all are the applications. So students, in this session we have studied the very basic things of C++, that what is C++, what is C++, why we use C++, what is the difference between C and C++ language, what are the advantages of C++ language, and what are the applications of C++ language. So that's all for today. Tomorrow we will start with the next topic of this unit. So that's all for today.